Hello, my name is Anu. I'm a 24-year-old chemical engineer, and about a month ago, actually exactly a month ago, I quit my job. And I'm making this video right now to tell you about the process that went on in my mind, why I decided to quit my job, as well as what I'm trying to do going forward differently so that I don't repeat the mistakes I made in the past. So I'll give you a little bit of background. I am one of the rare kids that really enjoyed school. School for me was so much fun. I genuinely enjoyed going to school. I genuinely enjoyed studying. I genuinely enjoyed learning. Like, that was something that school was something that made me feel very good. It gave me a lot of value in my life, right? It gave me a purpose, a direction to my life. And I always felt while I was in school, my life it's like one of those graphs where, everything is going up and to the right. Like, that's how life felt. Oh, elementary school is great, middle school's even better, high school's even better, and college, oh man, that's the best, right? So it's like everything is going up and up and up to the right. I think the reason why is because in school, the currency, right, where you get value is from your grades. You get the recognition, the accomplishments, it's from doing well in school, right? And for me, it gave me such a big purpose, such a big driving force in my life, that I was just very focused and very diligent, very disciplined. It was very easy to get work done. I didn't have to force myself. I don't have to watch YouTube videos on how to be disciplined or how to be productive. Like, it just naturally happened. And I was very successful in school. I kept a 4.0 GPA throughout my entire life, basically. I never made anything less than an A. And I was very happy, too. Like, I was very fulfilled. And I felt like I got a lot of respect from other people as well. When I was in school, people would come to me for help. And I spent a lot of time as a TA in college. So I think a lot of my self-worth came from being in that school environment. So I think that was the background that I want to share with you, because when I got into the workforce, it was a completely different environment. To the point where, my old value systems didn't make sense. I found myself kind of having this existential crisis, almost. So I got to work, right? And now, I'll just some context for my job, right? I was a run plant engineer, which in chemical engineering terms, if you're not a chemical engineer, is you're essentially owning a plant. You're responsible for keeping it running. You are a doctor, but instead of human patients, your patient is a chemical plant, right? With its reactors and its piping and so on and so forth. So, my job was essentially to keep the plant running. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of nuance. We're making different products at different times, and I wasn't in a manufacturing role where you're making the same products all the time. You're making different things here and there, but it was still, you were making different products. And I felt like I felt useless. For the first time in my life, I felt kind of useless. Like, if you asked me if I was a good engineer, I would struggle to say I was. Honestly, I would say I was a pretty bad engineer. And that's not something I thought I'd be saying. I didn't think I would say that I was a bad engineer by any means, or by any stretch of the imagination. And I was just looking at my YouTube this morning, and the amount of videos are like, oh, this is how you lock in, and this is how you be productive, and this is how you get work done. Like the amount of videos that I get recommended like that is way more. Like I never watched these videos or were interested in these videos or were recommended these videos when I was in school. So it's different. I think the reason is I kind of lost a little bit of purpose there. I've felt a little bit lost, and I couldn't figure out what I was doing. I'm kind of going in circles here. So let me try to get to the point here. In school, the challenge, right? The goal is to figure out what you need to learn. And what you need to learn is typically like the challenge, right? That's okay, you have this really complex topic that you're trying to figure out and you're trying to learn. You can think, I always hate the question people get in school where it's like, oh, when are we going to use this? It's like, it's not that you're going to use it, right? You have to think of it as like a mental gym. An athlete, they'll go to the gym, they'll do bench presses, they'll do squats, but then when they go out on the court, they're not doing bench presses or squats. But so why do they go to the gym? To become stronger, right? It's the same thing. You might not use calculus, but going through the mental effort of trying to learn calculus will make you smarter. It'll make you better. And it feels good. It feels good to like rack your brain on something that's hard, figure it out, and oh my gosh, okay, I figured it out and now I can do calculus. And then you move on to the next hardest thing. Okay, I can do calculus. Doing integrals and different derivatives are super easy, so let me move on to harder stuff. Okay, now I got differential equations. Now I got, curriculum in chemical engineering. I got thermal. I got transport. I got partial differential equations, Navier-Stokes. All of these things that are much more involved and much harder. So I always felt like I was getting stronger intellectually. I think that was a big reward for me. When I got to the job, it felt like that stagnated, that stopped. In fact, I felt like it went easy. It's like going to the gym and, you're ripped, you're jacked, you can do anything. And you go to the gym and you pick up, the 5-pound or the 2-pound dumbbells, you do like 10 reps and you're like, okay, that's a good workout. I went to the gym today. Like, you're not getting stronger. You're probably going to get weaker, right? And I think that's what I felt mentally. The stuff that I was learning, it felt more like information to memorize rather than complex concepts that I was trying to understand and appreciate. And the work itself, I found, was a little bit uninspiring, left a little bit to be desired. Because again, you're just trying to keep the plan running. You're not like innovating. You're not making the next big breakthrough. You're just keeping the plan running. So I felt like I was stagnating, and I was pretty miserable, and it had a lot of negative mental consequences for me, because my work was kind of unfulfilling. I tried to look for that meaning and fulfillment elsewhere. So I learned how to code, for example. That was a big thing that I was doing. I got a course online called boot.dev. It's an online course. I learned basically how to code. So I know Python and Golang and more advanced topics. I learned how to use AI. I went down the rabbit hole there. And all of this I was doing, outside of work. And other days I'd just be really sad and I just wouldn't want to do anything, right? That's like such a foreign idea to me. Like, just doing work, like how to put it, like you like not wanting to do work. Like, that's such a foreign concept to me. And it took a toll on, obviously, on my mental health. It also took a toll on my relationship. It strained things with the girlfriend I had at the time, and that relationship ended up ending, because I think if when I look back on it, it was mostly because of how in pain I felt. I wasn't able to really focus on her because I was just so miserable myself. I was stuck on myself, really. So anyways, I don't want this to be a sob story. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about why I quit, right? So that's just to give you some context. I stayed in the job for about 1.5 years, and honestly, I wish I quit sooner, but I think maybe the timing was good. I spent a lot of time and I quickly paid off my student loans, like 8 months after graduation, and I'd already paid off my student loans. A month after that, I had paid off my car. So about $40,000 of debt I've paid off. So I'm debt free currently right now, and I'd saved up enough money basically from my job by the time I quit that if I were living by myself in an apartment, I could live off comfortably for a year, right? And I'm not in an apartment. I'm actually this is my childhood bedroom. So I'm actually living with my parents right now. So that money is going to last me even longer, right? So I have quite a bit of runway to try and figure out what's next. As for what's next, honestly, I'm still trying to figure that out. This last month has been a bit of a decompression for me. I've been trying to go back to some of the good habits that I've been doing back when I was in school. But ultimately, I haven't been doing too much work because I've been trying to figure out what's next. Mainly what I've been doing is just spending time with family, talking with them, going on long walks. Just yesterday I went on like a 2-hour walk just around the neighborhood and outwards, just to think and reflect on things. Been thinking about this video for a long time. I've been trying to figure out how to talk about my job and why I quit and everything. And I'm not even sure if this video is useful or if it's like straightforward there. But I just felt like something I needed to get off my chest and put out there. But yeah, as for what's next and what I want in my life, again, I'm not going to try to go back to school because I feel like that part of my life is done. What I do want to find is something that challenges me, that makes me want to learn and grow, and that I can feel like, oh man, this is hard, it's intellectually complex, it makes me think a little bit, but I'm figuring it out, and then I figure it out, and experience that joy of figuring things out again. I don't think I've had that for a while. I've been trying to find it, but I haven't had like a good, solid mental breakthrough in a while, like an aha moment, like, oh, things make sense, things click. And I think that's what I want to do next. I don't know what form that's going to take. I've done a couple of things with AI. I might do something like start a business. Starting a business seems so scary. It seems like such a complex undertaking, and I know next to nothing about business. So that might be a fun thing to do. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'll keep you guys posted. I think from now on, what I want to do is another thing I also want to do, which is why I'm making this video. I should have got to that point first. I think another thing I want to do is I want to get back to teaching, because that was something that was a big part of me when I was in school. Like, being a teaching assistant was something I was very proud of. Like, it was a big part of who I was, sharing my knowledge. So I do want to get back to that, and as best as I can, I'm going to try and post a little more regularly on YouTube. I've definitely not been regular on YouTube at all, so I'm going to try to post a little bit more regularly, teaching some of the stuff that I've learned over the years. Some of it will be chemi, but others of it will be a little bit more general, just like life advice and observations that I've had. But yeah, so if you're interested in that, subscribe. I'm kind of ranting at this point, so I'll stop the video here. And if you got to this point in the video, I mean, thank you for sticking through. And I know this is not a nice straightforward video like some of the other stuff you see on YouTube, but I hope it helps if you're thinking about quitting a job. Obviously make sure you're in a smart place before you do it. You know, I'm definitely very privileged to be able to do it. I mean, in a world where people are, you know, where the job market is very, very tough, as they say it is right now, and in a world where people are just like very grateful to have a job, you know, I recognize that it might seem a little foolish to quit, but I think this is the right one for me. Alright, that's it for me. Thanks.